In Jira Cloud, your work centers on project boards. You add issues to your boards and transition those issues to different statuses. In next-gen projects, the Kanban and Scrum templates both include boards. To handle board configuration, you need to be an administrator in a project. If you created a next-gen project, you're automatically the project and board administrator. When you create a new project, you get a shiny new board along with it. However, you may find that you want to update the board with your own customization, including new columns, column limits, or visual groups of issues. Adding a column is easy. Scroll to the right of the board to see the Create Column button, which is the big plus sign. Click it, add a column name, and click the check mark to save your new column. For example, we create an In Review column for the Customer Service Department's board. Once you add a column, you can drag and drop the column to a new location on the board. We also don't want too many items in a column at the same time, so we can set a column limit to help manage the cards on that column. When you reach your column limit, the column changes color and you see the number at the top of your column outlined in orange. Column limits can help keep work moving or identify bottlenecks in your process. For example, if one person handles reviews and there are lots of items waiting on review. To set the column limit, point to the top right of a column and click the ellipsis menu that appears. Select Set Column Limit, and in the Maximum Issues field, type the number of maximum issues you want, then just click Save. And that's it. One of the last column configuration items to discuss is the Group By option, which allows you to group your cards horizontally on the board. In a new project, you have one option only, Assignee. This option is helpful if you want to see who's assigned to what issues quickly and how they're making progress. Paired with the column limit option, this may give you a way to see who may be overloaded on your team. In the Group By menu, select Assignee. Then just review the board to see how the organization has changed. And note that if you use the Epic issue type in your project, you've got the option to group by epic as well, following the same method. Now let's talk about managing rules in your board. Rules allow you to automatically change some of the information on an issue after moving it to a certain status, aka column, on your board. You can add a rule to assign an issue to someone, or you can add a rule to update a field. When you add a rule to assign an issue to someone, you choose the status the issue moves to and the person to assign the issue to. This rule might be helpful in situations where you have one person handling a certain point in every issue's lifecycle, such as the review stage. When you add a rule to update an issue field, you also choose the status which triggers the rule, and then you choose the field to update. After selecting the field you want to update, you also need to select a value for the field. This is the most complicated option, so let's walk through how it's done. In the top right of your project's board, click the ellipsis menu, and then click Manage Rules. Then in the Manage Rules window, click Add Rule. On the next screen, choose Update an Issue field, and then click Select. And we see some new options on the next screen. First, update the status for the rule. This is the status where the rule should apply. Next, select the field you want to update in the Update This Field menu. We select Start Date. Lastly, update the field with the value you set. Depending on the field, you may have a menu selection, or a text field, or some automatic option. When we're done, we select Add. So, when we move issues to the In Progress column, the start date for the issue updates to the date the issue was moved. This helps the Customer Service Department keep track of when work begins on issues with a start date of when the team member moves that issue into In Progress. As a final note, rules apply to the board and not to individual issue types, so keep this in mind if you update Assignee. You can't pick and choose which issues follow this rule.